The night before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he had a Zoom call with two pro-Israel activists in order to prepare for the college tour he was going on. He told them that, to his great frustration, something like 40%, 50% of all the questions he got was about Israel. And he told them he actually basically just wanted to talk about the US and really didn't understand why Israel had become so central to American politics, but also was looking basically to people who are very intense friends of Israel, including this Rabbi Pesach Walitsky, runs a group called Israel 365, as as people to help him answer basically anti-Israel questions. As soon as he was murdered, there was a huge surge of really quite crazy speculation on the internet that somehow he had been, did Israel have a hand in this? It got so intense that the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, felt obliged to deny it on television. In a saner world, people on the right are very intensely debating now, essentially, what was his legacy when it came to Israel? Was he, as I think some people think, a guy who, was fundamentally very, very pro-Israel and was trying to defend Israel from criticism among young people who are increasingly very, very anti-Israel? Or other people who knew him well say, was he somebody who, like other young Republicans, had started out pro-Israel but become increasingly alienated by Israel, by U.S. support for Israel, and was moving away? I talked to, probably a dozen people over the weekend about this, and really came away with a sense that what Kirk mainly was somebody who was trying to hold his party and his coalition together, and across a range of issues, and really saw himself as a movement builder. And part of that job is trying to find some common ground, trying to find some space inside the party for people who disagree very heatedly on in particular the question of Israel, which is dividing both parties right now. And there isn't really another figure like him among Republicans as they grow more deeply divided on this. The President Trump has obviously, sort of made his bet here and allied himself very strongly with Netanyahu, but there are a lot of young Republicans, a lot of people who voted for Trump disagree very intensely with that. And Kirk played, I think, a pretty special role in trying to find some way inside the Republican Party to mend that growing divide. One thing is, as I sort of came away from this, I did find myself wondering is, what kind of future historians will make of the fact that in this particularly divided moment in American politics, and moment when the U.S. is tearing itself apart, the biggest rifts inside both parties, inside the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, are over Israel's action in Gaza. That is a deepening divide. You can read more about this on semaphore.com.